All right, let's see if I can figure this out here. All right. Anybody hear me? All right, there we go. I'm seeing some chats. Hello. I guess I'm supposed to do a large welcome. I'm not gonna do it. It's for no reason. It's Wednesday. It is 12 o'clock. It is the 6th of November. We'll just get into it. Stevie76 is in here. Midlife poll. Would I rather talk about the US election results or be Matt Choi? About that. Ooh, we're gonna try to avoid, I think, all divisive topics today, if possible. So I would like to not talk about oh, banana Laffy Taffy, or candy corn, and also probably the election and Matt Choi. Can you guys hear me all right? This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm on my midlife, like where I land, like on the cusp of Gen Z or Gen X and millennial. So then that means some of my friends ended up writing software for like Microsoft, or they're on programming and all of those booting people off AOL paid dividends. And me, I'm like, I'm gonna check my email. And that's about what I got. So uh awesome. Let's see. Almost awesome with Will says only here because Kafuzi is a non. Yes. Yes. That's the point. All right. Hugh Wins in here saying, Andrew, how many times are you going to sit down today? I haven't done that officially. In fact, that's how I should start every single one of them. Hey guys, welcome in to the live stream. I can't believe I missed that opportunity to do that the first time. I need to figure out how to scroll is what I need to do. All right, loud and clear, Stephen Beal. Thank you. Oh, Jen Piazza's in here. What's up, Jen? All right, I hope everyone is doing good. I really do need to figure out. Oh, there it is. Now it lets me scroll. Took me a while. What matters to Matt? Currently teaching, so can't listen, but here to support. Awesome, Matt. Thank you. Make sure the kids don't see you on your phone. Don't want you to get sent to the principal's office. Let's see. Jason Horner is in here saying, how are you doing mentally with the physical break and you're imposing on yourself right now? I'm actually doing really good on that front. I'm feeling great, refreshed. I actually ran up the stairs today, hopped and felt fresh, like physically coming back together and sleeping a little bit better. The resting heart rate's kind of gone down a little bit. It's been since the 9th of October. So we're coming up close to a month. So I think the hormones are kind of settling down and everything. So I'm planning on just resting and forcing myself to rest the entire rest of the month. Matt Fox sent me an article about like an off season, which was really detailed and had a lot of scientific stuff in there. And I'll put it in the comments after or the description or whatever it is when this thing ends. It's a really insightful article. So yeah, let's see here. B. Zupan says, I think everyone is beyond sick of hearing about the election. Yeah, it's going to be a hard pass. Let's see. Melvin Eubank says this feels like a Kafuzi warm-up session. Yeah, I should be the opening act. I should go on before him. So people are like, all right, felt like an opener. Shannon Sides is in here. What's up, Shannon? She's probably wearing some Adidas Primex Strongs, I imagine. Stevie, I need jokes. Hi, Shannon. B Japan says thoughts about Sydney becoming the 7th marathon major. Well, I'm for it if I can figure out how to afford to go to any of them, or also if there is not a 1 in 700 chance of me getting in there, then I think that would be great. Sally Ann is in here saying hi there. Hi there. We'll give the emoji wave, but I'll do it like this. All right. Tag H1111 says, are you not training at all? Not even cross training? Good thing is you'll get some beginner gains at the end of recover. Greetings, Tim Hewer. Yeah, so I am not doing any sort of cross training right now. I have formulated a plan. So I think the recommendation would be that I would be doing yoga, mobility, strength training. I'm sort of easing my way back into it, but I've done that before. And then when I start running again, those auxiliary practices just fall by the wayside. And so I'm trying to um, adopt better habits to make them sustainable so that when I transfer back over into running, I can keep them. And so kind of what I've come up with so far is that I will set my alarm 15 or 20 minutes early and then do this muscle activation, yoga-ish, active warm up to get going. And I think it's going to be something that I need to do because in watching some of the recap video and like looking at the footage of me running, I have really bad anterior pelvic tilt and it looks very apparent. And that's not something you can erase overnight, something that takes a lot of work. So that's something that I'm just maybe doing to keep my mind occupied, probably. Just Outlaw says, are you done with acting or you're just going to kill some walkers again? Oh, man. Yeah, I think I'm retired. Yeah, I think I'm retired. Outside of some running YouTuber impersonations, I think I'm done. So, Shannon Sides took them off for the live stream. Yeah, that's good. And I'm rolling my live stream with some Nova Blast 4s. They're a little bit dirty. So just to let you know what you're working with here. They've become my dad shoe. They've become my like shoe that I just wear kind of everywhere. And then I don't even think I'm running them anymore that much. Well, I don't run at all technically. So, almost awesome with Will. I don't know why I'm struggling to say that. I'm actually sick. LOL. How do you maintain the best you can when dealing with a lung infection, or generally speaking? Well, lung infection is a deal breaker for me personally. We don't roll that way. I follow the it's funny because I don't know who said it first or what, but all those cliches just get recycled through online and all those videos. The arbitrary number amount of things you need to know about the truth about they're not lying to you about when you're sick, and like the above the neck stuff, if like it's just up here then and I'm congested and I have a cold, I'll probably run easy through it. But with lungs, I don't run at all. So I got COVID in 2021 in January, I think, and I was just out for a while. So Shannon Side says, Andrew, do you think Kaizen contributed to getting compulsive with your training? Luckily, my Garmin thinks I can run a 249, so it's far off. I'm not even tricked to aim for that. Yes, absolutely, Shannon. I do think that I got a little ambitious there, and I physically felt okay. I was recovering on a day-to-day basis and being ready for my next run. And so I was also hitting my splits in the workouts and I was hitting the splits in the long run. So I was like, well, I'm hitting my splits. I think I'm fine. I didn't really know the internal systems were getting fried. I had no clue until it was already too late. and I'd fallen off the cliff. But definitely, I think the Kaizen predicted time went down. We got it down to like a under a 2:43. So it was like a carrot that I was just chasing and pushing to see how far I could get. Because the way I figured it was with Marine Corps, there's 650 feet of elevation ish. And so I was going to lose a few minutes anyway. So I figured I might as well try to get as much in front of it as I could to compensate for the time. Lesson learned. We're not going to run according to any sort of predictor from here on out. That's for sure. Jason Horner says, any idea when we'll get a new short story or possibly another repost of an oldie but a goodie? Love the first one. Well, thanks, Jason. So those who don't know, I created a Substack. I didn't know what Substack was or that it existed until my algorithm got infiltrated by the political sphere with, the election that just happened. And then I looked it up. It's like for writers, and it's free, so you can read my writing. And I am a writer more than I'm an actor. So those really campy movies that you see, the power sprite compels you, all that, I wrote that, and it makes my inner eighth grader very happy. Always, I loved Naked Gun and parodies growing up, so I wrote that. So I also write some short stories. I posted one. You can go find me on Substack. It's free. Jason, to answer your question, I want to do one a month, right? So the one I'm working on right now is going to be my first running one that I'm working on. It won't be humorous. It's called Do the Hardest Thing. And I've got a few others that I'll post first. So the Cookie Monster, which you read, was one of three in a short story in a book called The Kid Detective. But I have some other ones that I've written that are not The Kid Detective. All right. So see, this is what's going on. Sally Ann says, I need to be more consistent with strength training this year. Same, girl. Same. It's just like it falls off. The more I run, the less I strength train, the more I probably need to strength train. That's kind of how it works for me. Then I get to that like once a week for maintenance, and then I get shocked because I go in and do something which I feel is light, and then I'm sore for a few days. I'm like, it shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. Hugh Wynn says, looking back, do you think what you could have done differently to have a better race besides not overtraining? From that perspective, I feel like I really maximized what I could do on race day. I ran by effort, and I eased into the race a little bit. The thing with overtraining syndrome is that you start okay, and then you just rapidly drop off because your body's fatigued. So you hit the cardiac drift, everything's gone. The weather was perfect. I mean, it was like a great day for running. Couldn't have drawn it up better. But no, I stayed with it. I kind of just pushed into that red line as much as I could the entire way. And around mile 23, I picked it up a little bit. And then the middle of 26, it just caught up with me again. And I was like, okay, well, don't pass out. So I'm proud of the effort that I put in. I think the race was over before it started, with the overtraining syndrome. Steve 76, IMDb credits in the description below. Yeah, we'll have to drop some in. So I went to film school at the University of Texas, and then I moved to Los Angeles in my 20s. I came back because a producer buddy of mine got funding for this horror movie he wrote, and we got Gary Busey in it, and it's really camp. It's not really campy. I tried to make it like The Shining, and it's like a slasher movie. I should not have done that. I was 25. I was like, of course I'm going to try to be Stanley Kubrick. It's bad. It's called Hallettsville. I don't think it's around. It went straight to DVD naturally, like every Gary Busey movie after Under Siege or whatever he was in. Point Break, yeah, after Point Break. So then after that, there was some independents I did, some comedies and stuff like that, because you don't need stars, for some reason. Johnny Depp never called me back. He wouldn't do my movies. I don't know why. Jason Horner says all black peg 40s is my everyday dad shoe. Yeah, that's a great one. We should do who's got the best dad shoe, because that's up. I know New Balance is like, the company for that, but with the Black Peg 40, it's impressive. All right, we're drinking some Element ripoff, something called Hydrolyte Plus. You can get it on Amazon, and it's like 75 cents per serving. And lemon lime, 1,000 milligrams sodium, highly recommended. I'm not sponsored by them. Matt Beyer, I'm trying something new where I run the next 2 weeks in more basic shoes, like the SL2, SN Rise Velocity 3, then using my Endo Pro 3 for a 5K time trial, trying to make super shoes feel special again. Yeah, that's awesome. I saw Chris Sagasu video where he was doing that. I think that's awesome. I don't know if I have the nuts to do it. Well, I'm not really running at all right now, but that is something I want to do when I get back to it for sure. Just Jared's in here. Hey, Andrew, if you had USMC marathon to do over, would you still go with the Fast or Nitro Elite V2? Yes, I would. It's a very propulsive shoe, and I needed all the assistance that I could get. I did one test run with Marathon Pace for like in training the week before, and I did just 2-mile blocks, 4 2-mile blocks. The shoes I tested was the Adios Pro 3, the Alpha Fly 3, the Endorphin Elite V1, and the Puma shoe. And the Endorphin Elite V1 is like right there. I would have also enjoyed that one. It would also have been harder on my feet, but like I think that would have been a great choice. So I needed the assistance because the Adios Pro 3 I had to do the most work in, and was really fatigued, so it was rough. Do or Die says, "Hey, good to see you from the UK. Great interview with Matt Fox, by the way. Thank you." I haven't done any interviews since then. If y'all want me to talk to somebody, I can reach out to them and see if they want to talk. I don't know if I never make it much out of the house, so I don't know in the running world outside of the Kafuzi Run Club and you guys, like if anyone who knows who I exist. So if I like reach out and they're like some stranger reached out to me with this little channel, no, I'm not going to talk to that guy. All right, Melvin Eumangs here. I'm also considering myself a midlife runner. I love it, but I haven't made nearly the gains that you have. Your progress has been amazing. I've had a disappointing race. You're stalling at the 3:20 mark the last 3 times. Oh man. Well, Melvin, I got a lot faster this year, but it didn't show by doing a lot of speed work. Are you doing marathon block after marathon block, or are you mixing in some speed? Stevie76 says former Texas linebacker Ryan Cushing used the overtraining athlete syndrome to explain his high level of HCG. Good thing you weren't tested after the race. Yeah, because I was really in 330 shape, but it's 310 with that little boost. Don't tell anybody. When those shots I got 2 weeks out, I only mentioned the 2. I mentioned the flu shot and the COVID shot. I didn't mention the other shots. Almost awesome with Will says, I think it's finally time you gave your final thoughts on the New Balance SC Elite V3, the one proclaimed alpha flight killer. LOL. All right, guys. All right. I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. Okay. I knew I was wrong. I took it from a half marathon last December. And it did not have the pop that I wanted off the toe. So everyone else was right about the shoe. I just loved it. And I tend to be wrong with my first impression. I get overly invested emotionally in the shoe and I really want to like it. And I tend to. And so if the shoe doesn't perform later, kind of got blinders on. Will it stop me from making first impression videos? Probably not. But I do have to do the follow-up. I didn't get it to 100 miles until a couple months ago. And then there was a bunch of stuff I was filming. So I haven't come back to that because like, who's going to watch it? Right. Like, I guess maybe if it's on sale or something and someone's looking like, should I get this shoe? But I still like it better than the 4. Ooh, sorry, New Balance. Yeah. Just Outlaw. So what's next? Sure, you have a future race on your mind once you get back to training. So what's next is that like I'm running the Austin International Half Marathon, formerly known as the Austin 3M Half Marathon. It's like Jack and Jill half marathon, the Rebel races. It's like point to point from North Austin to South Austin. It's a cheater course. It's all downhill. So fun. I love it. That's where my fake PR is. It's 123.58. It's just a little bit of up, but it's mostly down. It's super fun. BPN bought it out. So I think like Floberg and all of the BPN people are going to be down there running that one. Then it's Boston. So that'll be like, I'm just going to run the Austin International half. I'm not going to like race it hard. I'm just going to be, probably 6 or 7 weeks before that. I'm going to start running again. So then I'll start training for Boston. I got into Boston. So that's it. And for 2025, that's all I got on the slate. Talking with my wife, we might be just doing one marathon a year and just running and racing and other stuff, 5Ks, 10Ks, halves, stuff like that. But like traveling and getting it all done, like a big marathon, like Marine Corps, like Boston, we might just be doing one a year for a bit. So Shannon Side says, I'm super inspired by your completion of the marathon. 3:10 ain't nothing. I don't think I'm overtrained, but I'm kind of dreading my marathon on Saturday. Isn't it? That's Indianapolis, right? Isn't it supposed to be like 15 degrees? Feels like 3. I think I saw Matt post something like that. I don't know if I could do that. I would be shedding layers while I went. Yeah, Indianapolis. There it is. All right. Shannon Sides, no bus 4 on Running Warehouse for $109 right now. Shoe Talk. So it's interesting. The Nova Blast 5, that guy, Alex, I don't know how to say his last name, Alex Fatidi. Fatidi. I understand why he made Meta Endurance like that. So you need to say his name, but he did a Nova Blast 5 review. It's like new foam. Okay, but I don't know what to extract from that new foam. Oh, it's kind of softer, but is it bound? Is it fun? It's bounce. It's good, but it's like I can't. The only way I'm going to know is if I get to run in the shoe, and then I'll know. And I wanted to get fun again and bouncy, but it seems like it got a little softer. So I'm thinking maybe it's not like more of the Nova Blast 2 everyday mileage kind of thing. So I don't know how to pronounce that. Board at work. There we go. There I can read. Hey Andrew, what if any supplements do you use or recommend? Oh man. Well, I've gone down some rabbit holes on YouTube trying to reset my immune system and get healthy again. So there's, right now I'm doing a lot of vitamins and like NAC, vitamin D, vitamin B1, just like a lot of things that help with cortisol levels and inflammation that I don't normally do. I'm terrible at nutrition. One of the things I'm doing in this time period right now is I'm resetting my nutrition because I don't know about you guys, like if you ever mess with diets, carnivore, keto, Mediterranean, any of that stuff. I generally try to avoid them. And my philosophy is like, I'll just eat healthier. I'll eat more fruits and vegetables, but I don't hold myself accountable when I do that. Like a diet puts me into a place where I'm like, no, I can't have that. I can't have this. I can't have that. Otherwise, that little Caesar's hot and ready is just looming right around. And like the kids, we're going to go on a donut run all the time. So I eat a lot of donuts, eat a lot of pizza. I do not eat healthy. And when I'm running 80 miles a week, it doesn't happen. So something I'm trying to focus on is eating a lot cleaner. So I'm not having to supplement all of the vitamins that I need for that. So I was doing a lot of BCAAs as well with the protein and recovery in the build. But outside of that, I don't normally take reds and greens or any of those things. Tobbs in here says, yo, you ever done San Antonio rock and roll? I'm doing the marathon on December 8th. I have done it. Yeah, I've done the half and I've done the full. The full was my first marathon ever, and I bonked hard as balls. It was not a great time. It's tricky. It's tricky, as you can see. Today was San Antonio weather is very fickle, even in December. So today it was 48 degrees in the morning. That's the first time it was in the 40s since last year. And then it goes back to 63 in the morning and all in the 60s until the following Thursday. Like we may not even get fall. We just might skip the whole thing this year, in San Antonio. So that day that I bonked in San Antonio, it was like a warm front came through. It was like 70 degrees, 100% humidity, high dew point. And so, best of luck on the marathon. It's also around 600 or 500, 600 feet of elevation. So it's not as flat, but it is a fun course. I did the half last year, which was really great. We got to run through Fort Sam. I think they changed the course on that. So it was cool. Um, where are we? Sally Ann says interviews are great to listen to when I'm doing my long runs. So that's the big hand emoji for me. Thank you, Sally Ann. That's honestly the point for those. And then whenever I do some sort of shoe talks or like this live stream, this is what I do. I'm an LBNL for the Kafuzi live streams. I've rarely am able to make it onto the live streams. So then I just save them for later and then I take them for me on a run. So Stevie76, Casey Neistat ran a sub 3 at NYC without wearing super shoes. What a flex. What a flex. I didn't know who he was until way later than I should have probably known who he was because I mixed stuff on YouTube, but I missed missed the boat. So congrats to Casey for snagging that. I guess I'm looking forward to his sub 250 block. We'll see. Luis Becerra's in here. The power of Sprite. Yeah, it compels me. It does. Oh man. Let's see. Kuveg's in here. Yo, bro. John, did the hamstring injury affect your race? It did not. Hamstring, all the strength training I did, I probably 6 or 7 weeks out, I tweaked my hamstring, and I think it was some hamstring tendinopathy because then it started feeling it in the other hamstring, and that was not good. And then, but we strengthened it, and it started to feel a lot better. So hold my beer and watch says, how Matt Fox reacted to your insubordination in training. It's not too smart to not follow his instructions in a marathon build, don't you think? I do think that. Yeah, I think that a lot. So my approach to it was sort of like the Jack Daniels thing where like Jack Daniels will, hey, here's your 2 quality workouts. Here's your workout Wednesday. Here's your long run. And then in between is all sandwiched is just a bunch of easy running. And, he writes the schedule out 2 weeks in advance, and then I see it, then I do it, and then I run. Instead of 60 to 70 minutes, I run 80 minutes. I run a little bit more here and there. And like I said, the body was feeling fine. I was still hitting my splits. There was no alarms, anything to red flags to like look at and give us any warning. But I definitely learned my lesson, which is really funny because when I first started working with him in the beginning of April, we would do workouts, we would do stuff, and I'm like, man, I got so much more. But just whatever, I just do whatever he says, and okay, it's like only 50 miles a week, and like but I just started getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. So I should probably just kept doing that. Run SC says, hi Andrew. It's early, but any thoughts on a fall 2025 marathon? Some friends and I are looking at Detroit Marathon. It's the one Josh Hubbard races. We'd be cool to all run there, recover well. Well, thank you. Yeah, I am going to be running Boston. So I don't know if I'll make it up to Detroit. My timeline is like a decade. Give me a decade. We'll see if we can make it up there. I've got a lot of races on the list that I'd like to run. Grandma, CIM, all the marathons, things like that. So we can scratch off Marine Corps. That one's off there. It was a fun race. I would run Marine Corps again for sure. And I have 2 brothers who live there. So it makes that all the more worthy. You can see all the more worth it. All right. VIP says, do you have the Primex 2 and how suitable for slow runs? I do not. I have the Primex too strung. Yes. No. I don't know. Second one, but the strung V1, not the strung V2. I have over 7. I made it over 700 miles in this last build. My goal, low key, is to get the shoe to 1,000. It still feels okay, guys. Still feels good. I think Shannon, she's the expert. We need to ask her on it. I think she said she got hers at 700 or 800 miles, and the only reason she had to stop was because of the integrity of the upper. She had to stop running in it. But my upper is holding up right now, which is ironic, don't you think? I mean, it's like Primex Strong. It's like it's supposed to be an upper update, right? It's supposed to be a good upper. Whoops. I didn't win the sweepstakes either. I didn't, they didn't take my money at Adidas for the SL trainer shoe that is coming out. So I think it's supposed to come out in December, maybe next month. So Melvin Young, to answer your question, last 3 marathons have been May 23, June 24, Grandma's, and October Chicago. Couple blocks dedicated to the half marathon. I know the answer is to get stronger, work at the short stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the expert. I'm not a coach. I'm not USATF certified or certified in any sort of way. But I found benefit from doing that. And actually, that's what I want to return to. I think I want to return faster. I've run like an all-out mile like 3 times. And I really want to see maybe how fast I can get an all-out mile. That would be really fun. Painful, but fun. All right. Shannon Side says, I keep reminding myself you're a quote new runner, and lessons like this are usually learned from firsthand experience. Yeah, that's a lifetime for me of that's kind of how I learn. I think it's probably most people, but especially me. Yeah, that's how I learn. And I would say I'm probably have graduated from new to what intermediate. I started running in March of 2020. So we're coming up on 5 years next March. That's intermediate, I think. We got to switch to that. Tim Trenholm says, my coach goes bonkers if I go over what he prescribes. And ultimately, if I go over for the week, he just removes from the following week, which makes me sad. So I try to stay on plan. Yeah. So my previous coach, I had a local coach, and he is, I think, USATF certified. He's got certifications. Yeah, and he's real strict with his stuff and his mileage. And I just followed it. And he's like, no GoPro. And I was like, okay, no GoPro. That's fine. This time I brought a GoPro. As did Joshua Hubbard, who's in the house. He says Detroit is a great race. Let's see. And he says I got to run it in 2025. Not sure that's going to happen, but it's good. JBS is in here, the legend. Just popping in to say hi. Well, hi, JBS. Thanks for joining us. Not sure what time it is in the future where you're from, but appreciate you stopping by to say hi. Kuvang says, has the time change affected energy levels? I've been feeling like garbage even with more sleep. I don't think that one applies to me because I'm just sleeping a lot and I'm recovering and I'm feeling really good. Leaning into it. Oddly, not a whole lot of time extra spent on YouTube as much as I thought I would. Just more time with the kids, but it is the season. I've got 3 of the children and 2 of their birthdays are October, November, and it's Halloween, and they're still school age, 8th grade, 6th grade, kindergarten. 8th graders getting a little too cool, going off with friends and stuff. 6th graders, yeah, no, he's still hanging out with us. So we go hard in the hood, we gotta go Pillish in neighborhood for candy, all the fun stuff. All right. Shannon Sides, the expert on the Primex run, or the Primex, says they suck for easy runs. I like V1 for slow and fast runs. Panos is in here. Midlife wanka. I love it. All right. Shannon's telling me to throw my Primex in the dumpster. I don't know. We talked about this. I'm not really great with advice. I learned the hard way. The irony, though, if I start running again in that shoe, and then, and then I roll an ankle or something after 2 weeks, or getting ads with the live stream. Oh no, I don't think I think I have ads turned off. That's not good. Midstream. Oh, that's weird. I'm gonna have to turn that off after this. I'm gonna have to figure that out. That's weird. I was trying to turn that stuff off usually for that and for like member videos and stuff. Matt Byer says, I want the Evo SL and Audios 9 when they release. I mind the black version of the Evo SL, so don't bother with the lottery. So it didn't bother with the lottery. Yeah, I'm also kind of on a budget these days too, so I have to pick my spots, and I'm looking at the Audios Pro 4 and then also the Endorphin Elite V2 as well. Then I'm gonna like only own super shoes. It's like the opposite of Chris Sagasu. I'm just gonna be running in. We'll be the yin and yang. Shannon Side says, I think you get full permission to coach people for free on low heart rate MAF training, or MAF has gotten you so far. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll need a heart rate strap data sent to me, and then I'll have to analyze the heart rate data, see how far we can go before we push that drift. All right. I don't have any noises. I need to make some noises. Who does that one? That one's SJD. What matters to Matt? Debating short speed block before marathon prep or just a really long marathon prep. Matt, I used to be right there with you. And what I think I've learned was that a really long marathon prep is sort of like a speed block in front of some dedicated marathon specific work or block. So it might be like 8 weeks of speed and then 10 weeks of marathon work. And the way that Matt Fox explained it, or the way that we did, was I was doing multiple workouts in the speed block and less mileage. And then when sort of ramping up and onboarding to marathon training, which was one workout on Wednesday, which had both threshold and interval stuff oftentimes, and then a long run that got progressively longer and with marathon pace in it. But I think that was very beneficial for me. So VIP says Evo SL and Evo Pro both available in Europe in all sizes. Waiting for the sale, my man. Same. Most of the time, same. I'm waiting for the sale. Oh, you know what? Ads pay the bills. They do Stevie 76. Fact. I think I have a box. I should have just made something up. Oh, someone's in here. It says box. We gotta have a box. I never have a box. No one ever sends me anything. But I was checking my email right before this, and it went down. Hold on. I'm good. The ADD is too much for me. Oh, I'm gonna sit into this shot. All right, box time, guys. Box. I actually know exactly what this is. Men's size 9. Because people don't send me so many things that I wouldn't know what it is. They tell me, like, I'm in communication with people, and then they're like, I'm going to send you this thing. Is that okay? And I'm like, yes, as long as it's not headphones, because we don't do headphones anymore. We're over it. We got the headphones we like. The unboxing you didn't ask for. I'm gonna act surprised. All right. You see that? Mount Coast. You can unblock. I reviewed the S1 and the R1, so they sent me a new colorway, I believe. Let's see. Got some hay. Hay's in the barn. Oh, nice. A visor. My wife's gonna love that. She won't be seen in public. I'm gonna wear it. I wear it. I don't tell her. I wear it when I go on runs. She's not on the run with me. She didn't see me, you know. And she should like that. She doesn't like the high socks either, but it's like, you know, I wear, it's like repellent. You know, it's good for her. It's good for everybody. Here we go. So here's the colorway. I'm not sure. I don't want to butcher the color of that. And I don't think I have the range to name that color. It's not my strong suit. So, wow, awesome. Let me see here. Have you guys run in the S1 or the R1? I feel like a lot of what I see, I've got some stickers. What I see from Mount Coast a lot is also the same with Ketone IQ. It's like everyone who has it got sent it. So whether or not you should take it, I want to find like somebody who just bought it and then they tried it and just give their like completely unbiased opinion of how the shoe runs, or Ketone IQ, ketones. So I think I'm the only person who bought ketones. I do take ketones. Back to the supplement thing. I do. I like ketones a lot. So yeah, R1. Sweet. I will not be running in those anytime soon because I'm not running at all. But December, I'm going to run in those. Shout out Mount Coast. The unboxing. That is the R1, by the way. That is not the S1. Hoochmanoff says, what is your favorite race in Texas? It is the Austin International Half Marathon. It's so fun. Austin is hilly. So they have the Austin Marathon with the Austin Half Marathon going off at the same time. That's a hilly race. That is not point to point. Or, you know, it may be point to point, but it's not from the top of the city down. So it's not like net downhill. Like the Austin International, that one is super fun. I ran it 2 years ago, and then I loved it so much I signed up for it again. But then I ran Houston, and when I ran Houston, I deferred to the next year. So that's why I'm running it this year, because I'm signed up for it. Where am I? Earth. Matt Buyer, Andrew, how many shoes have you bought and sold on the Supple app? You know, I sold probably 4 shoes on there, and I sold 3 originally to buy the Endorphin Elite V1, which I got for $180, which is great. And then I ordered too many of the Puma Faststar Nitro Elite V2s because there was like glitching. There's an error. So I tried to like send it through again. And then they immediately send it to you and they're like, you can't cancel your order, but you can return it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll see if anyone wants it on the Supple app but there was no takers. There's no buyers. And see, now I can grill you for not giving me kudos on my 251 PB at Auckland Marathon. I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna take a picture of this. I'm gonna go find you, and I'm gonna affirm the shit out of you. I'm gonna give you so many. I'm gonna do more than kudos. I'm gonna make you blush. Just Outlaw. I think Chris's last name is Stepanek, not Sagasu. Yeah, I know, but it's more fun that way, you know. Just nicknames are cool, you know. You gave me kudos on my shakeout run. I didn't. No, we got to go back. You have to go back, Kate. I'm watching Lost, by the way, with the middle child. We're on season 5. We just started it. We have been going through that, uh, show. I miss the weekly release shows. I think the more that I've probably seen Lost all the way through 3 or 4 times, and I will say that it was so good the first and second time. One, because I didn't know what was happening, and I think neither did the writers know what was happening, but also because it was such an experience week to week, and I would meet. I remember talking about the season 2 finale at one of my brother's wedding with, my brother-in-law, and going on that journey. So it's kind of cool to watch my son like experience the show and ask all these questions. He just freaking out. It's like watching his brain work. But then he can just like skip forward to the next episode whenever he wants. I'm just like, oh, what happens? Oh, I'll just forward. There it is. Oh, okay. It's the future. Yeah. Time travel. What a trip. John says, here's a useful running gear tip for men with wives, girlfriends. Ask them if they have any old yoga pants that they don't wear anymore. They make great running tights for cold weather. Well, John, that is a great tip. NA, not applicable for where I live because we don't get cold weather. And also, do they have pockets? I need pockets. That's what I usually put my phone in my pockets. Let's see. Stevie76 says lingerie. Yeah, that's little layer up, little secret. Oh man, I'm behind. I didn't think I'd be behind it. I thought there would be like 7 people in here and we would just talk about life and all sorts of things. Tim Trail says, my God, who do they not send them out to Coach Shoes to who has a YouTube channel? They were really on top of the marketing. They were very nice people. They got everybody. They did. I'm trying to think. They got Matt's in here. They got Joshua Hubbard. He's in here. So, all right. Justin Osmer says, best long run shoe in the game. Best long run shoe in the game. Yeah. Literally, you could go forever in the shoe. Twilight color. There we go. Periwinkle. Shannon Sides is in here, says periwinkle. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to nod and I'm going to agree with you because I think. Are you sure it's not under embargo? No, Luis, we just let it fire. We just let it fire. I don't think it's under embargo. I don't get on Instagram often. I have one and I post a story sometimes, but I really neglect it. Just just doesn't happen. And I saw Reel and I saw that colorway. So I don't know who did it. Maybe it was Chris Agasu. Oh, Josh Howard. Yeah, it's called Twilight, if I remember. Okay, so that's Twilight. Shout out to Mount the Coast. VIP says it's not available in Europe. That's interesting. Joshua Hubbard says it would not spend money on Mount the Coast until it's a little cheaper. Adrian M says, thanks for the tips, Adrian, on Marine Corps, man. It got me amped for the race, and it was also motivating. Says, I bought ketones myself. I've had good races taking them before, and they seem to help with recovery. You know what the unlock was for that race? Was at mile 17. I actually, with my gels, I took ketone peach with caffeine. I chugged that sucker. I'm doing that every race from now on. That's instead of a Morton with caffeine, I'm rolling with one of those peach ketone IQs. All right. Matt Byer got his first MidLive ad. Well, cherish it, Matt. I can't say that it'll be the last because we still have another 10 minutes before I have to go start rounding up the children. But today is going to be the last MidLive ad. Because because I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna figure that out. We're gonna do more than just check my email. We're gonna navigate it. I'm surprised this one went off without too many errors. Hoochmanoff, don't know if you mentioned this. Do you have any running tattoos? I don't. I have this sort of watchmaker in the universe, and then there's my family. There's with like two of the children. The little guy wasn't born yet. He's got like a footprint here, but yeah, it goes all the way up, and then it's sort of time melting into some mindfulness, and there's like some mountains and a beach on the back that kind of goes down to earth, and then I've got one here that says "Move in the enforced rhythm of grace," but I haven't gotten any tattoos since in the last 5 years since I got into running, and I don't know if I'm going to get any more. Not because I feel like I'm too old to get them, but it's a lot of money, and I got kids. I'll be like, "Hey, kids, Daddy couldn't get you any jackets this year. You're gonna have to be cold for the 2 weeks of winter in Texas because I've got this really nice running tattoo of this time that I ran. I'm so fast. Aren't you so proud of me, kids?" Oh, MK's in here. All heart. Yeah, baby. Glad to see you recovering well. Do you miss running or appreciate the time? I appreciate the time off. I don't miss running at all. Not yet anyway. So I don't feel like it because my body's just was so fried. Like the thought of it was like, nah. Um so I'm really enjoying feeling fresh again and doing all those other things, the like the yoga practice or like the stretching and spending time with kids and stuff. So who's been up? If not, what event or milestone would merit one on the tattoo front? I've thought about that. I wanted a tattoo for like 3 decades, and I've always been a writer. And as a writer, when I was a teenager, I used to journal and write all these profound things when I was like 13, 15. And when I was 15, I'd look back at all the stuff I wrote when I was 13, and I was like, "Oh, that's so embarrassing," or as cringe as the kids would say these days. And then when I was 17, I'd look back at the stuff I wrote when I was 15, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so dumb. You're so dumb." And so, like, I knew that was a thing. It's a lifetime of writing. So, like, whatever profound sort of thing I ever wanted to put on my body, I'm like, "No, Andrew, in 3 years, you are gonna think that is the dumbest thing, and you're stuck with that. It's not worth it." And so, essentially, like, God and my family, I'm never gonna think are stupid, so that ended up on my arm, and, so I don't know. I don't know if there is another life event or something that would warrant that. My 2:15:45 Olympic time trial eventually, yeah, I'll put that on my leg or something. My fat adapted life. Mr. Wing in here. I'm using my R1 this weekend to run 5 marathons in 5 days while fasting. Dude, that's goals. That's an achieve. I'm gonna have to add that to the do the hardest thing article I'm writing for the Substack. Sick. That's awesome, man. Oh, Kuvang got hit with that midstream ad. Oh my god, guys. I'm gonna go buy a Tesla truck after this with all this ad revenue. That's amazing. 2 more 5-second ads and Luis. Yeah, ring it up. Hey, you know what? I'm not sure. I will try to look at the YouTube. Shannon Side says, "I wonder if Andrew makes more than 17 cents off ads today." They do track all that stuff. I don't keep up much with my YouTube analytics on stuff. Only when it like fires off. When it fires off, I'm like, "What happened?" Oh, I interviewed Kafuzi. Of course, people want to watch Kafuzi. And then, but like I don't keep track of it's not much because it's not much. That's why. So I'll tell you if it's 17 cents or not. Stevie 76, ketone IQ caffeine versus Mario power up sign. The crowd support at Marine Corps was sick. It was great. I say this because I hit those signs and I boost up. I burn matches. I'll burn matches when I hit it. And the kids, they just light up and the crowd's like, oh, because most runners are just like going by. So like when a runner like engages with them, they get all fired up. That's a close call. If I could have if it was like what was that Mario game where you could build the Mario world? If I could build a marathon and just put power up signs all across, like, every 100 to 200 meters, man, PB City, it would be good. That or I'd bonk after mile 11, but whatever, it would be a good time. It would be fun for a while. All right, board of work. We could have been talking about life this whole time. What else is new with you? Oh, that's a great question. I think what's happened is that when I quit marathon training, it's less about me and more about other people. I mean, I've always give to other people, like my kids and stuff. Like I'm available, but it's like my time is more them now. Now, like they sacrifice a little, so I try to get my runs in before they wake up, of course, right? But now I have more time to give to them. So nothing crazy that happened yesterday that we're going to talk about, or at New York City. Definitely nothing there we're going to talk about. So Luis says, so you are not tattooing the courses of the marathons like Aubrey. I didn't know Aubrey was doing that. No, the answer is no. Riders write, runners run. What happened? That's what Stevie76 says. What happens when a rider runs? He runs on writing. You know who I found? Peter Bromka. He writes on running. I think that's what his thing is called, writing on running. He wrote that article that I heard referenced so many times in the last 5 years, but never read until recently, which is I think it's like the marathon doesn't owe you anything. And so I went down that rabbit hole. So he's got a Substack, and I've been reading that. Oleg Ko says Kafuzi looks very different today. Indeed, indeed. Same age, got some glasses. There are children. Rob Thompson, yo. Question: your next Canadian marathon? Montreal, Ottawa, Niagara Falls, Toronto. Where are you going? That's tough, Rob. I may or may not have Googled how hard it is to live in Canada. To move to Canada. I've been to Vancouver, Victoria Island. I know it's touristy. Victoria was amazing. Pacific Northwest, so it was pretty much like Seattle, but that was great. I've also been to the other side because I went to Buffalo, went to Maine, took a ferry over it's Niagara. I'm gonna have to take your opinion on this one, and I will say whatever I run, I'm gonna switch my watch over to kilometers, so that could be the kilometer killer. So, but that's on my list. Running a marathon in Canada is definitely on the list. I should say the flattest one, but whatever. We're running hills these days. Kuvang says on writing. That's what it's called. Still waiting on the stack posts. Substack had to take a break. Too much writer's block. Kuvang writes on Substack too. He's great. He's excellent. You should subscribe to his stack. All right. Justin Osmer says, I always wanted a tattoo and it took 30 years before I got one, but now I'm addicted. Yeah. No, this was a 5-year process. The whole sleeve, I think I got, it was a four-part mini series. Yeah. And we released them like Sopranos. We just took our time in between, but we got it all done. Vibe. Shannon Side says vibing and popping off, as the kids would say. My wife was a teacher for a long time, so she kept me up to date for a long time. So I still remember years ago hearing about Riz, and she was talking to my oldest about it. They're like, "Dad doesn't know what Riz is," and I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" She goes, "Oh, and get this." This is that my wife told me. She was like, "It's like game, but it's short for charisma." And I was like, "Riz? You think I don't have Riz?" I was like, I invented Riz. I looked at my oldest and I said, "This is my receipts right here." They're like, "Oh God, Dad, stop!" That's how I know I'm winning. Is if I can get a hit on the shoulder, or if I just tell them, they're just like, "Stop!" I'm like, yes, that was cringy. That was really good. Oh, would you recommend Marine Corps Marathon as the first big city marathon? I would recommend Chicago as the first big city marathon. because the weather's generally pretty good. There's so much support. Chicago is the best. It's great. It's flat, but Marine Corps has all the feels of a major. It's very well supported. The crowds are crazy. It's good. It's just there's most of all of the elevations in the first 10K, but there's a lot of hills at the beginning. So if you ease into it, it can be really cool and you pass all the monuments. So Marine Corps, like you wouldn't regret signing up for that race. And just because it's the Marines, you don't have to redline it start to finish. So Luis Becerra, back from a 30-second ad. Is that a 34-cent increase or is it mine? Well, I answered that, but you were too busy watching an ad, so I guess you'll never know. So, all right. Is the other arm barren? Shannon sides will end with this one. No, the other side says move in the unforced rhythm of grace. There's just one, and it's in the Times Roman font. My wife has a matching one. Aw. And hers is in cursive and it says the same thing. I know it's sick. So gross. I appreciate all of you guys stopping in for this. We're just going to keep them rolling and we're going to do them every Wednesday unless there's some sort of doctor's appointments for the kids or something. So I'll keep you all posted again, and we will have an update on how much money I was rolling in with all of these ads. So apologies for that, guys. And we'll fix it, and I will see you next time. Cheers.